Hi, welcome. My name is Britta Brewer. I'm a genetic genealogist here in San Diego, California. Today I'm going to review a tool that I've come to love called Scapple. It helps me chart out all the information I collect and research as a genealogist, which can get pretty complicated, and even present complex ideas to a tester in a very simple visual way. You can locate me at gogogenealogy.com. I was introduced to Scapple by Kathy Fernandez in the brown jacket. If an endogamy expert can use this program, I think anyone can. As any researcher or investigator knows, we're collecting thousands of pieces of detailed information from a myriad of sources. We're collecting people's stories using relationship probability prediction tools, ethnicity estimates, and building hundreds of trees to locate a most recent common ancestor, often from 5 different websites. Scapple, I found, is where our chicken scratch goes to die. It's where we can best see how the messy phase of evidence collection meets the next phase of organized analyzation.
Okay, what is Scapple? Keith Blount, the creator of the software Scapple, in a 2016 interview says it's sort of a big virtual piece of paper. When you're doing a tree of 14 children from 1874, you're going to want the biggest piece of paper you can find. Scapple allows us to go outside those boundaries. It was initially intended for writers where a person would jot down, sift through, group, and present their ideas in a fashion where a story is created. As genealogists, we're not creating stories by ideas, but we are revealing them through evidence, where we too need to note and jot down and sift through and group information. So let's go here. We're going to look at where we can find it. Literatureandlatte.com is where I found it. You can see here once you get there, you rough it out, sort of like a brainstorming, then you can make your connections. It's very simple. They have tutorials on exactly how to do it if you wanted to go there. So everything is on the website. Let's look at the price while we're here. You can put it on a Mac or a Windows system, and it's a simple licensing. So you just purchase it one time for $20.99 and you download it to your computer.
So I've downloaded the application to my computer and I've opened a new untitled Scapple. Right here at View, I have Show Inspector Bar. That usually isn't on, but today it is. That's how you turn it on and off. We're going to create a simple match tree with a tester of an unknown parentage case, or you could do an unknown DNA case. I am just double clicking to create my boxes to get my ideas down. And that's what this whole program was all about to begin with. So now we want to line everything up. We just go box by box. And now I want to make my connections. We just make this connection to this one to this one, and this one to this one by simply dragging them to one another. I've highlighted them all with a rectangular box. I want them to be nice and centered, so there we have it. Now let's just take what we've done here. I'm going to cut it by doing Control C and a Control V, and now I'm going to make this my match side over here. So I'm going to turn this into match. My match probably knows their parent and realign them as such. And sometimes they get a little goofy and they don't do it, so you can do it all at the end. Now I'm going to put up here my most recent common ancestor. I know that these are both children of that person. Okay, so now we kind of have our matches set up here. Now let's make it pretty. My tester I usually have in red so that he or she stands out. I'm going to make the font a little bit bigger on this person and maybe even bold it. My match here I like to have also in red so it sets them apart for who I know their centimorgans match to. And then from there I can even make these fill colors. I have my own colors set, so we'll make these generational colors here, and you can do it according to how you see fit, how your brain works, what you like to see. Do you like to have the creative all over kind of place, or do you like things nifty and organized? I like things organized. So there's going to be my first tree. I'm going to make sure all is aligned perfectly by selecting the information and aligning. I can also do it vertically here, where I align them to make sure that my vertical centers, all of these generations here, are lined up. So that's going to be really important for a tree builder, right? So there you kind of have it. Now, what I want to do is go through where we've done really complicated things, where we have tons of information. This is over here. I'm not going to save changes. This would be an example of where I've triangulated everything. I've worked a bunch of these matches. You can see them down here. Make it a little bit bigger. I have all my matches in red. I have a little bit of a red outline so they stand out. Within these matches, I'm tracking the person's name, which is usually up here, their date of birth, sometimes their date of death, if it matters, but it probably doesn't matter once we've got to this point. 73 is the amount of centimorgans. In this case, I'm also triangulating African ethnicity, so I'm trying to find where the African ethnicity is coming from. This happens to be on the island of Trinidad, which we've now basically rebuilt all of the cocoa and sugar plantations. Owners, enslavers, and slaves moving forward. What's nice is these are, you can see where I have the generations separated by color. You can also see where they go back to their most recent common ancestor. What I've also done here, I'm going to zoom back out, is I've taken where we think the DNA is coming from. That's ethnicity sometimes plays a part and sometimes doesn't. In this case, it does. He was very surprised to have 25% African blood. He's a man from the UK. We're probably dealing with some banana boat actions back after the war in the late 40s. This was actually done because I had a possible birth father identified. So basically, I'm showing all of the possible relationships. So not only does this involve the ancestry tree building, we have a lot of these matches are coming from different places, MyHeritage and 23andMe and Ancestry. So they're all being compiled here as well. Like for instance, this tester is related to 1, 2, 3, 4, but where I'm connecting them is where I want to show how much and where it makes sense, this relationship, this relationship, this relationship, this relationship. So by putting this box in here, I'll show you how to do that. You just delete it out. You can reattach the tester, and then you create a new note. And I don't even, it would have been 3C2R, I believe. I'll just undo it. And then right here, when I show my inspector box again, I can go ahead and make this fill color the bright yellow, and it all sits in there. So you can actually make your connections between people and write in between here what people would be to each other. I've included some photos. You can put photos in there just to see if there's any likeness. It's kind of fun. It's kind of complicated, but it's kind of fun. The other thing I've done is create where I have genetic networks or possible most recent common ancestors. I haven't on this one done them differently. The way to do that is you go up here, you go to a new background shape. So it just put it around it, but let me see if I can pull it out. Right here is you can do like a whole new note in here. You can create a box. You can pull these things into here. You can do things like that. So when you put your box here, what's cool is now I can, if I were to do a new note, you know, hello, okay, and then I do a second note, goodbye, okay, so I want them inside of here. I can do what's called a magnetic. I make this box around it magnetic, and now everything within the box can be taken around. It connected up to that one. So everything you can move it around. Now let's say I want to go way down the page. I can either scroll out and move it down, and that's what makes it unlimited space. Like it's the biggest piece of paper you've ever seen, right? So anyways, that's how you would use it for genealogical terms. Now, when I'm out like this, I can kind of see things aren't really lined up as well as I'd like. I actually didn't do this before, but for these ones here, let's say, I would like these to be correctly aligned. So I'm going to go ahead and correct all of my lines here. But it's nice to be able to see where it's probably going to move that lady. Hold on. I want these guys here and vertical. You can also go way close in. So you have the ability to stand back where you're seeing the big picture, right? And then you have the ability to kind of take all of that information and make one big visual out of it. This is one that I made for a relationship probability at DNA Painter. We do a lot of screenshotting of what is possible, but to explain that to a client or a tester, they're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what a 1C1R is at 88%. Okay, well, let's just make it really simple for them to understand. If your dad is Jim, okay, if he's your bio father, this makes Dawn your half sibling, and it makes Cher your 464, which is actually 463 match. You're a half aunt, and she is a half niece to you. Now, it's not statistically likely, but still I wanted to show her that Jim's probably not your dad. But let's go around what we know about Jim and about Dawn, and we can put in, this is really important. She couldn't understand why I needed to know who Jim's parents are. Okay, so that was the point of this. If you have the same grandparents as Jim and one of Jim's brothers is your bio father, you have a really high percent that this girl is your 1C1R. Same here. If you have a bio father but two separate moms, okay, then he's going to be your half sibling, and you can explain using these charts. It's kind of cool. Another one I've used is this one. Okay, so this is huge. This is where we built out all of the matches that you saw in the previous one. The other one was a hypothesis of who a possible biological father was. That was this guy right here, Louis Laurent. But we've got a problem. This is where we can't seem to get it. This is our major genetic network of her closest matches down here. Okay, we've done further testing on Aunt Jan. She came in at 315, and we have, these were the original matches, and we have built tooth and nail this family back. They're actually surprised we've even been able to build their family because it's so fractioned. So using different researchers down there, we're sending DNA kits to Belize and to Trinidad and to the United States, and our testers in Liverpool. It's been kind of fun. Now, the other thing I like to do is just create, this is where all my notes are, everything that I get out of any type of person. So I have who my DNA connection is. So far, I know that this person is connected up here to Trisha and Heidi of My Man Go. So I won't remember that. Maybe I'll remember it, but there's a lot of people in this case. These are my questions that I want to continue to look. How's Laura connected to the Huggins? And of course, I have, their names in here. Is the Scottish Freemasons playing a role? Does Captain Alec, because who's driving banana boats from Trinidad up to Liverpool? Well, the captains are. That's who. So anyways, we've gone through all of the Find My Past articles to find every surname we could possibly find that has to do with us. I've done all of the slave register research back in Trinidad. So this is their last names of the main line of people. We're trying to see if we can connect any of the enslaved with the enslavers, and then the surrounding plantations. And then these are our contacts. So I like to keep our contacts of the people that we're talking to, some of the matches that they're talking to. Then we have the Pavies over here. Dear Lord, they're in Grenada, they're in Trinidad, we're all over the place. But I got to tell you, we're getting kind of close. To have your highest match come in with a 315 is pretty cool. So if we can get back one more over here, we can see this whole picture. It's not a hodgepodge. And that's why I love this program. I have this whole worksheet to know that I have done all of this work, which it does look like a lot, but there's hundreds of hours in this. So it's nice to have just one tidy little screenshot for this particular case. So someone had a really good question, which prompted this whole tutorial, which is, what does it look like really big? I want to show you how to save it. It's going to be saved no matter what as a Scapple document, but I want to show you that you can save it as a PDF. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do full chart, no names. Let me change this so I know how to find it. Test. Okay. Okay, and I also can save it as a photo. Some of the people that I'm working with were on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. So there I have uh, I have the ability to just hit photo so they can pull it up on their phone. What does this look like now? Well, let's go look. Here it is as a photo. And you can see that it very much keeps the integrity of the text. I mean, that's pretty good for such a big picture, I think, in small font. Let's look at it as a PDF. Okay, same thing. We'll go ahead and pull it in. It's definitely keeping the integrity of the text. And I think it looks beautiful, to be honest with you. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and informational thing. I really appreciate you all in this industry. It's super fun to be a part of, and I love that we all work together to try to find the tools that we can all use. Scapple has become one of my favorite, and I hope it can help you in some way too.